Today's Thursday, but we're doing our end of the week quiz today. So I'm going to show you where you can find it. So this is my packet. This is the lesson from Tuesday, but you know how it starts and you have all your skills practice. If you flip all the way to the back, this is not part of the assessment, but it's something really awesome that's in there. And that is a student grammar guide, and it has a lot of important definitions and examples for you on the different types of grammar that we have been talking about or will be talking about. So this is really helpful. But if you go past that in your packet, more towards the end, you'll see this page that has the weekly assessments. Since we are off on April 10th, yay, no school. You get to relax, have a 3-day weekend. But we're going to be doing this story from Tadpole to Frog actually on Thursday, so it will be due Thursday. So I would go into this packet, I would look for this story, and it even has the date on it, which is 4/10, but again, we're doing it on 4/9 since we don't have any school. So let's talk about this story and some expectations here, because these are some things that we've done in class, right? So you always want to look at the top part. It says Montel wrote this report about tadpoles, so that's already kind of giving me my central idea or main idea, right? And then it says he wrote this report to tell his class about how to raise tadpoles. So it's getting even more specific. It's telling us it's not only about tadpoles, but it's how to raise them. So it says read Montel's report, then answer the questions that follow. So as you're reading, okay, you always want to number your paragraphs, right? We know that the beginning of our story is our intro, and the end is our conclusion. And everything else, right, in between is our supporting details in our body paragraphs. So we want to do hashtags for each paragraph. So that means when you read it, you just write a couple words. What is it about? So I could read paragraph 1. Raising tadpoles in the spring is a great hobby, and it can be done in your own backyard if you have the proper equipment. I've raised dozens of tadpoles into frogs successfully over the last few years, and I have some valuable tips to offer. Raising tadpoles. I don't really like frogs, but that's just me. So this is an interesting story, but I know it's talking a lot about raising tadpoles, so that's what I'm going to write as my hashtag. And you know what's super interesting about this is my intro is supposed to introduce me to my main idea. Well, my main idea was raising tadpoles. I'm making those connections here. It is introducing about raising tadpoles and that this story is going to be about that topic. So you would continue reading, write all your hashtags, really know what the story is about, and then you would go on to the questions. So if we're looking for a change here, right, we're going to be looking at cups. Here I know they're capitalizing spring. Here I'm noticing they're changing the spelling. Here they want to delete a comma, which is punctuation. And here I notice they changed from 1 P to 2 P's. So that's also having to do with spelling. So when I go back to the story on sentence 1, I'm going to make those changes. Capitalize spring, delete the comma, and change proper to proper. Now what's really awesome about the spelling is you can definitely go back, use dictionary.com or use a paper dictionary to check spelling for those words and know the meaning, because actually both of these are words but they have different meanings, right? So when I'm going into the sentence, I'm going to read it, for example, with the first one, raising tadpoles in spring. Well, spring is a season, and we know we never capitalize seasons, so I'm not going to do that. Then I'll continue. Raising tadpoles in the spring is a great hobby. Well, if you look at this word in the dictionary, it actually means like when you grate cheese. So that's when you're like shredding it. But this is a hobby and we're not shredding anything. Great means something that's really, really good. So could this be a really, really good hobby? Yeah, I think so. So I would say maybe. Delete the comma. Well, we know that when we have commas with fanboys, it means we have complete on the left, complete on the right. You need two helpers to make it right. So I check. Raising tadpoles in the spring is a great hobby. That's a complete sentence. Then I say, it can be done in your own backyard if you have the proper equipment. That's a complete sentence. So if I have both of these complete sentences and I'm trying to combine them, I need two helpers. So I do need that comma there. I can't delete it. If I look proper in the dictionary, okay, or I go to dictionary.com, you do not spell proper with two P's. So I have eliminated that. My answer is B. Let's look at what we did here, okay? We not only read the story, right? But we went to the question and found some keywords. So, read story. 2, we want to look at keywords. 3, we want to identify the changes, right? So we're labeling cups. Then we went to the sentence. We made the changes, right? And we reread the sentence. So when we're rereading the sentence, we're able to make those connections, look at context clues, look at spelling, look at meaning, look at how they're using punctuation. And then sometimes we are going to have to label our sentences if we're using commas and conjunctions or we're using awoobis words. Excuse me. So make sure you're doing all of those strategies, all the tools that we've learned to help you get through the questions. On number 3, when we're looking at the correct way, remember we need to label. So I'll show you an example with the first one. I see my awoobis word here before. I see a comma, I see a fanboy, and now I can label those sentences now that I found those little tools like our awoobis words, our fanboys, our commas, right? And I make sure they're using them the right way. So it says, before you acquire your tadpoles from a store or pond. Since I need to know what's going to happen before, this is a dependent clause or an incomplete sentence, so I'll label it like that. So then I look at the other side of this sentence. You have to set up a habitat. Well, this is complete. But remember, we talked about it over here. If I have complete on the left, complete on the right, I need two helpers to make it right. This is not complete, so I don't need both of these helpers. I actually wouldn't need this because I'm already using an awoobis word to combine. I don't need to use a fanboy to combine as well, and not in this sentence. So if I read it without this, before you acquire your tadpoles from a store or pond, you have to set up a habitat. That sounds much better than having that fanboy but there. So make sure you're reading the sentences, you're looking at those conjunction words, fanboys, you're looking at what type of sentences they are. Are they incomplete or what we would call dependent, which means they can't stand alone, or are they complete and independent and they can be separated and be alone from the sentence. So use all your strategies that we've learned in class so that you can be successful. Then you're going to go on Teams, you're going to submit your answer choices, and you'll have your grade just like that. Good luck, boys and girls. Please use your strategies, try your best, take your time. You're at home, take it slow, really look at everything, and use all your resources. Good luck.